This lesson is on the equation of a circle and being able to first part recognize the equation of a circle, and also looking at working out what the radius and the coordinates of the center of the circle are. You've got your equipment list for this lesson and some of the keywords, and again you've gone through, you know some of these, what they are: radius, center, gradient, and we've also looked at completing the square, and some of these answers we'll be looking at leaving them in third form. In this first example, we're going to look at this equation: x squared plus y squared equals 25. And you've come across similar equations when we were looking at solving quadratic simultaneous equations. Now, so for the first part, we're going to substitute values into this equation to work out the corresponding values so that we can plot the graph. So if I start off, for example, with one example of using when x equals 3, so that'll be 3 squared is equal to 9. So 9 plus y squared equals 25. And so therefore y squared will be 25 minus 9 equals 16. Now to work out the value of y, so therefore I'm going to square root. And what you need to remember is when you square root, you will always end up with two values. So y is equal to 4, and then y is also equal to minus 4. So from this, what we need to note is that there's two y values for every x value here, because when you're square rooting, you'll end up with 2. So when you plot this out, you'll get one positive value there, one negative. So in the same way, if I continue to use the same equation for different values of x and work out the y values for the table, what do you and again you need to make sure, remember, for each x value there'll be two y values because you are square rooting. So therefore, when I plot the points, I can plot the corresponding points. So when x equals minus 3, y is equal to 4 and minus 4, and so on. 0 is 5 and minus 5. And what we end up with if we join the points up is a circle. So this is the equation of a circle. So x squared plus y squared is the equation of a circle. Okay, and then the next part is, well, if you look at this, what's the radius of this circle? Well, the radius will be 5 units long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I compare the equation that we started off with and look at the radius, what can you say about the radius? Well, the radius is going to be the square root of this. So from this first example, what we can now say is that the equation of the circle will follow this format where we have x squared plus y squared and r squared at the end. X squared plus y squared equals r squared, where r on its own will be the radius. And with this equation, the center of the circle will be at 0, 0. So it will look something like this on a diagram. So in these examples, first part, x squared plus y squared equals 49. So therefore the radius is equal to the square root of 49, which is equal to 7. And the center of the circle is at 0, 0. So so that the center is there at the origin. The second example, we've got x squared plus y squared equals 56. So this time the radius is equal to the square root of 56. So, and I'm now going to simplify this using surds. So that is equal to 4 times 14 square rooted, and I can square root with the 4, so that becomes 2 root 14, and I'm going to leave that as that. So the radius is 2 root 14, and again the center is equal to, is at 0, 0, again at the origin. So what I would like you to do now is pause this video, try these two questions, working out the center and the radius, and once you're done, play the video and then I'll go through the answers. For the first question, you get the radius as 9, square root of 81, center 0, 0. On the second question, again, the radius is the square root of 45, and you can simplify that as a 3 root 5. and again the center is 0, 0. So for the next part in this lesson, we're looking at circles where the center is not at the origin. So in this case there we got an equation. So we've got a circle where the origin is at 4, 3. Now the equation changes slightly. So again we got the equation, the center as AB, or in this case is 4, 3. But this time we've got each term inside the equation as being x minus a, where a is the x coordinate, and y minus b, and b being the y coordinate. And what you also need to know is that this is the opposite value to the actual coordinate. So if a here is positive, therefore it will be x minus a and y minus b. So in this example here, we've got x minus 4 plus y minus 3 squared. So x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 5 squared. And again, 5 squared r being 5 centimeters. And again, we can work out the r squared part, that is equal to 25. Now, if you were to solve these two brackets, x minus 4 equals 0. So therefore, x equals 4 and y equals 3. You can see that that actually equals the center of the circle. So we will go through these three examples. So on the first one, we've got we're looking for the equation of this circle with the center minus 2, 5 and a radius of 6. So if I compare this to the equation that we've just looked at, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. So first, for the center, remember what we need is the opposite value to the coordinates in the center. So the x, so therefore that will be minus 2. So therefore that will be x plus 2, and then y minus 5. So the first part of the equation of the circle will be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared, and then the radius is 6. So therefore 6 squared gives me 36. On this second question, we've got x minus 4 plus y plus 7 squared equals 121. And again, the center will be the opposite value of what's inside the bracket. So that will be 4 minus 7. 4 minus 7 is the center. And I need to square root this number at the end to get the radius. So the square root of 121 is 11. So now for this answer is 4 minus 7 as the center, and the radius as is 11. And for this last question, I'm going to do this separately. So for this third example, we've got this equation of x squared plus 10x plus y squared minus 12y plus 57 equals 0. So first part for this question, we need to convert this so that it actually looks like the equation of a circle. So for this part, what we need to do is use completing the square and look at and use it to put this equation in that form. So if I start with x squared plus 10x, so I'm just going to look at those two terms to start off with. So now I'm going to complete the square of those two terms. So that becomes x plus 5. Remember, we need to divide the coefficient next to the x by 2. So that becomes x plus 5 squared minus 25. So I divide that term by 2. That goes inside the bracket. And I'll square that and take it away. Next, if I look at the y part there, so y squared minus 12y, and again that I can again complete the square on that, and that becomes y minus 6 all squared minus 36, and I've still got the plus 57 equals 0 plus 57 equals 0. And so now the next part is I'm going to collect these three numbers together so that I get minus 25 minus 86 plus 57 equals minus 4. So that is equal to minus 4. So those three values there put together equals minus 4. So now I'm left with x plus 5 squared plus y minus 6 squared minus 4 equals 0. And I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So now I've got the equation as x plus 5 squared plus y minus 6 squared is equal to 4. So then that gives me the center as minus 5, 6, and the radius as the square root of 4, which is equal to 2. So with these questions, you need to use complete the square for each section of the equation. So separately for the x terms and then separately for the y terms, and work out the brackets, collect all the values, all the numbers on their own together, bring them over to the other side, and then from that you should be able to work out what the center and the radius is. So what I would like you to do now is pause the video and try these 3 questions. And once you're done, play the video and then I'll talk you through the answers. So in this first question, you're told that the center is minus 3, 6 and the radius is 5. So your equation will be x plus 3. So remember, it's the opposite value to the one in the center. So x plus 3 and x plus 3 squared plus y minus 6 squared, and is equal to 25. The radius being 5 squared, which is 25. So that's your answer there. For the second part, going back the other way to work out the center. So now the center will be at 8 minus 3, and the radius will be the square root of 144, which is 12. And for the last part, well, remember for this part, you need to, first part, you use completing the square. So x squared minus 14x, you get x minus 7 squared minus 49, y squared plus 8y, you get y plus 4 squared minus 16, and that minus 16 again is there. So now you just need to collect all the values together, minus 49, minus 16, and minus 16 again, and bring it to the other side to make so that it's equal to a value. So you end up with x minus 7 squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 81. So now from this you should be able to work out your center. So the center is going to be 7 minus 4, and the radius is the square root of 81, which is equal to 9. The main task for this lesson, you've got, it's in 3 sections, red, amber and green. On the red section, I've given you the equation. I want you to work out the center and the radius. The amber questions, I've given you the center and the radius. I want you to write down the simplified equation of the circle, in similar to what you've got in the red section. And on the green section, I've given you the equations, and I want you to again work out the center and radius for each question. And for this, remember, you need to use completing the square. And what I want you to do is complete 3 questions from the red, 3 from the amber, 3 from the green. So that's 9 questions in total. And once you've done your questions, take a photo of your answers and upload them onto class charts for you to have completed the work for this lesson.